Hello. In this walkthrough, I'll show you how I built a centralized project management application using Airtable, starting from a written project brief to a working app used to manage creative delivery workflow. My name is Olushola, and I'm your Airtable expert. Now, the goal of the project was to help a creative team manage incoming design requests, assign work efficiently, track progress, and maintain a structured database of completed assets. Now, first, I had to understand the problem of the brief. And from the brief, I realized that requests were coming from multiple departments, deadlines needed to be tracked, designers needing clear assignments, and project managers also needed that visibility. And of course, the design asset need to be stored for future reference. Now, the workflow itself was simple, but very important. Now, I created a workflow to show how the system is going to be built, how I'm going to build the app. Now, a request comes in, work is assigned, production starts, the PM is aware, the deliverable is finished, the PM reviews. If the deliverable or the design is okay, then we deliver it. If it's not, it goes back into more work to be done, it reviews, and it's been delivered to the requester. Now, instead of me building tables immediately in Airtable, I didn't do that. The first step was to translate the project brief I received into a workflow, because the workflow actually determines the system structure. Now, if you look at this workflow, like I said, I've categorized it into several stages, which is request submission, project assignments, the production, the review and approval, and the delivery. Now, this actually helps to clarify who owns each step. Is it the requesting department? Is it the project manager? Or is it the designers? It also helps to clarify what information is required and where delay could happen. Now, automation only works when the workflow is clear. Now let's move on to our Airtable to see how this was translated into the different data structures that we have. So I'm going to go into Airtable. I'll go to data and projects. Now let's see if you can map this together. So as you would see, we have the project table, we have the team members table, which is the designer, and then we have the asset table. Let's take a look at each one of them. In the project table, you have the project name, you have the deadline, which is a date, you have the assigned team member, which is a linked record from the team member. You have the email from also the assigned team member. You have the project status. Also, you have the budget, you have the description, you have the design asset, you have the project type, which is a single select. I also use the count function in Airtable to determine the number of assets that was developed and also the number of approved assets, because I needed a formula that would help to see the progress of the design solutions that were being created. Moving on to the team members table. We have 6 team members here, the designers, and they all have their roles, their current workload, which is a count of the project they're currently handling, taking out completed project and on hold project, because we want to be able to actively see the project that they're currently working on. What is the availability like? This is a formula showing that if any designer has greater than 1, then they're busy. If they only have 1 project at hand, then they are available. And then, of course, we have the linked record showing here as well, which is the assigned project. We have the design asset, and then we have the email. The last one here is the design asset table, where you see the asset name, the project it's related to, what use it is for the asset photo. And now this is where we're going to store the design assets that are being developed. That is about data. Now let's move on to see how the interface layer is being built. And this is the app. Now there are 3 interfaces that I've created in here based on the roles. So we have the project manager or project management interface, where a project manager can see the projects that have come in. It can assign the project. It can see, how the projects are progressing. There's a calendar in here as well as projects that are ready for the PM's review. Remember from our workflow, the PM needs to review the design that the team members develop. We also have the production layer, and this is where the designers manage their work from the interface. And they're only able to see what is assigned to them. And they're able to manage this interface from, all the way up until completed. And you have the configurations in here that shows indeed they're only able to view what they are being assigned to. And lastly, we have the requester's interface. The requester's interface shows the completed project, and the requester can come in here and download the creative that was being designed. They can also go ahead to submit a new project. Now, that is that about the interfaces. We'll talk more about it very soon. Now, when I knew that my data and the interface is stabilized, I went on to create some automations. Now, automations are ways of ensuring that we avoid manual follow-ups. Now, some of the automation I've created in here is to update PM, the project manager, when the project is in progress. If you recall, from our workflow, we want to be able to see a status to the project manager when production starts. So automation took care of that. We want to see when, all the assets within a project are completed. We want the system to automatically complete that project. And once that is done, we want an email sent to the requester saying, hey, your project has been completed. Now, there's so many notifications or automations that we can build in here as well, depending on the workflow and what the team actually wants. I've also created a form to also handle the submit request tags that we can see in this workflow. So the form in here is the first step that a requester would have to fill before every other steps in the workflow is being triggered. Now that we have a good understanding of what the data layer is about, what automations are in place, the interfaces that has been built for the project management, the designers, and the requester, the form that triggers the entire process. Now let's go into production and see and test how the application works from start to finish. So this is the application that was created. A requester comes into the project management view, clicks on submit request, and click on submit a new request. Once that is clicked, a form appears. And then we can quickly fill this. Let's name it Project Plateau. When is this due? This is due on the 6th. What project type is this? Let's pick a product showcase. What is the description? We want a catalog that showcases new products in Project Plateau. And once that is done, the requester clicks submit request. Now, what happens after that? Immediately that is done, the project manager can see a notification is sent, by the way, to say, hey, a form has just been filled. And you can see it here. Someone has requested a request from the creative design team. Now, if we go back, the PM, the project manager, can also see that, oh, there is a new project request in here that is yet to be assigned. So the project manager proceeds, opens the request, reviews, assign a budget, and proceeds to add a team member. Now, I've conditioned this in a way that it's only the available team members that shows up in here, which means team members that are working on just one project, not more than one, is what you'll find here. Now, for the purpose of this walkthrough, I will be using Liam Smith because that is where the email that we're going to use to test our automation is being set to. So let's click Liam Smith. The moment a resource is assigned, it disappears from the assigned project page on the project management interface. Now the team member goes into my project. This is also filtered or conditioned based on the current user accessing this page, which I showed you earlier in the permissions. Now, Liam can now see that, oh, I have a new project called Project Plato that I have to work on. Liam can click on this, review. If there are no questions, then production can start. Liam moves this to in progress. The moment Liam moves this into progress, automation kicks in. Remember the automation I showed you saying whenever a project is moved into in progress, send a Slack message. And now, if I go to my Slack message, I go to AI automations, I can see, hi, project manager, Project Plato is now in progress, which is good. Let's go back to our interface. Now, Liam starts working on Project Plato, does so many things. The moment Liam is done, Liam can come back here, add the asset that was developed. So again, the project name is same. It's not editable. Liam can then label this catalog Plato catalog. What is the asset type? Let's say it's an illustration. When was this created? It was created today. What is the usage? This will be used to showcase Project Plato new products. And then the team member, which is Liam in this case, creates the assets. Now Liam can go ahead and add an image of the asset. I'll go ahead and browse, attach the design or the creative or the brochure that has been created. So I go to pictures, and Liam can choose any of the pictures that we have in here. So let's expand this a bit more so we can pick something more relevant. Oh, amazing. Liam uploads the file. Great. Closes this dialog here. And now that Liam has updated this creative, Liam can actually move it to ready for review. Remember, from our workflow, once the deliverable is finished, it needs to go for review from the PM, and that's what we're doing now. Which means the project manager can come back to their own interface, go to project under review, and then they will see Project Plato in there. Now the project manager can come in, open, see what it is about. Is it okay or not? If the project manager is not satisfied with what has been produced, then the project manager can send it back. The moment it clicks on send it back, it goes back to Liam's queue of work. And Liam can see it in here that, oh, this project requires a change. Liam goes back again, works on it. Once Liam is done, it can move it back to ready for review. Again, the PM comes, goes to project ready for review, and sees that, okay, the project is back. It can click on it, click on the image, and if it's satisfied, it can say, oh, perfect. It can add a comment in here. Close the creative that was designed, and then approves the design asset by clicking on the sign. The moment the project manager approves, then it moves away from the queue of project ready for review. Now, the last step, given that our design asset is now approved, is to notify the requester that their deliverable is ready. Now, the moment the project manager approves, automation kicks in and sends an email to the requester to say, hey, project Plateau is completed and it can make access through this link. And then the requester can come into completed project, click on my project, and there you go. They will be able to see project Plateau in there. They can open the record details and click the download button to download their creative. Now, haven't gone through the entire workflow and how it's been structured in the app. Let's see what data actually was populated in the backend. Now, everything we've been doing has been on the front end. Now, let's go to the backend and see what data came into our tables, the project, the team members, and the design assets. As you can see, we have project Plateau in here. The deadline, which was filled from the form, was there. The project manager assigned, and then you can see that Liam Smith was assigned. The email, you can see that the project status is now incompleted, and that was how the requester was able to download their design asset. You can see the design asset name that was filled by the designer. You can see the project type, the number of design assets to that project, which is 1. How many has been completed? 1. Yeah, so it worked. We can see our data right here at the back end. Similarly, for team members, if you go to Liam Smith, you'll see the project that Liam Smith has been assigned to. Again, they're all linked together, and it shows how the front end and back end are being related. It's important to know that we do not want to expose our back end to our team members or to our project manager. And that was the main reason why we developed the interface, to be able to accommodate this for the project manager and the team members to be able to interact on the front end using the interface. Now, what does this mean in totality? This actually helped to centralize the request tracking. This app shows clear ownership at every stage that was developed. It reduced the back and forth communication. It provides real-time visibility for project managers, and it also organizes the asset database for reuse. Now, what is the key takeaway in this application that I developed? This app was not built from Airtable features. It was built from the workflow. And that shows the importance of workflow when we're trying to build a solution in Airtable. By defining how work actually moves through the organization first, the system naturally became easier to maintain and easier for the team to adopt. Now, if you're managing projects or operations using spreadsheets, emails, or disconnected tools, a workflow-first approach can turn that process into a structured, scalable system. Now, this is the approach I use when building Airtable solution. Understanding the workflow first, then designing the system around the workflow. And that's it for today. Thank you for following me through the demo, and see you soon again. Bye.